I started out as a CrossFit BFG coach, so CrossFit level one, and then moved on to my level three training after I seen kind of like a lot of joy within coaching classes. So I started to think about and pushing that into one coaching. And yeah, never looked back since. Found it to be a joy of my life and find that every day that I get to work with quite amazing people. So yeah, it's really good.
So that's where you are now. But back in the day, why did you reach out for help in the first place?
So back in the day when I reached out, as much as I was finding joy in coaching and really loving the classes, I was finding that I wasn't making anywhere near enough ends meet to kind of live, literally, quite literally. I remember my first 3 months equating to about £600 in earnings. It was a pretty crap. And yeah, it was actually because you reached out over message, and then I was like, okay, this is clearly something that I need to actually think about. And since then, never looked back. But one of the main reasons why I went for it was because I needed to take a risk, and that risk really paid off.
You had the wedding coming up as well, didn't you, at the time?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, that was actually quite something that I was quite dubious about because obviously it was like I got to figure out a way to make that work, and then obviously I was actually on the fence about actually just continuing being a PT at that point, because my previous month wasn't very good, and I had like 5 months until the wedding, so I was just thinking about going to work for Audi or something just to make sure I could pay for the wedding.
Yeah.
Um, so that was a nice little savior.
Yeah.
So
Look,
yeah,
you ended up getting married.
yeah, it did. It went through. It went through. It happened, and yeah, the wedding went all the way through. It went smoothly, and it was actually able to pay it off and not have anything in terms of like debt from it, which was quite good. So yeah, it was surprising to say the least. I think the main thing, and I was actually speaking to a couple of people about this before, and like they've asked questions about like why I joined. And in all honesty, it's just the belief in myself. The fact that I've been able to move into a coaching role as a full time, um, whether that's working with people in person or online, that blend has only become apparent to me because of obviously like the exposure that you've presented. And once you obviously presented that exposure of like, this is possible, you need to do this though to get there. That then allows you to actually feel like you are in a job role where you're not necessarily working that job. And I do live by that now. Like, I am able to go to work where I'm never stressed about like who I've got. I do feel like I think one of the main points was actually when we talked about like creating your perfect client. And I do feel like I've just continuously attracted that person. I've never felt that I've had to take someone on because of the monetary value that they might provide. It's always been because of like what they might provide for me in terms of a personal gain of like how much I enjoyed coaching them, how much they will enjoy being with me. And that's been invaluable. So like it's in all, just the confidence to actually think that the business will grow and blossom.
It sounds like that confidence came from kind of making your vision clearer, having a plan, and actually having a strategy, almost having that clear, right, I know what I'm doing now, I know what I need to do. I know that I'm going to be able to succeed if I go down this route, rather than
Yeah.
maybe just winging it and not sure if what you were doing was the correct path, what was the correct path or not.
Yeah, 100%. Because I was very early doors when I came to you into my coaching career. I'd only been doing it for a fair few months by then. Obviously, at that point, I had really no idea. The PT like level twos and threes, they just don't really give you any inclination on how to run a business. They just, they just, they
Grab the
don't really
clipboard, walk
challenge.
around the gym floor and
Yeah,
grab people's emails. That's how you generate leads.
it's not great. It's not great at all. And like even the training to a certain extent is not top class. Like you do need to go into other criterias and other qualifications to actually get better at those. Um, but yeah, it definitely has created a clear vision. It's definitely created a clear impact as well. Like the vision and the impact of this program has been at the forefront of my mind for a very long time. Like I speak so highly of this. I know in some cases it's not necessarily like been to like the maximum amount of potential earnings, but like the fact that I'm comfortable and confident in my business like all year round, I think is very, very much a target for everyone. You know, like the fact that you can go to work knowing that you're going to earn a certain amount of money, not stress about the next month. And that's just as invaluable as like potentially earning the fancy 10, 20K. You know,
Yeah.
like that's great. And that's really aspirational. But the fact that you can just think, okay, this is a lifetime job now. It's not just a whim for 5 years or for 2 years,
Yeah, I'm
two
not
years, and then you're out of business.
passion. I'm not struggling through. I've actually turned this into my occupation. This is my career now. And
Mm,
it's now giving me like the stability to actually, to support me, support a partner, wife, the house that you live
mm.
in, kittens, which must be pretty big.
Yeah. Yeah.
Last time I see
The
them, they were
kittens
hiding
too.
in your jacket. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
cool. So, how did you find your experience as a whole with working with us in the FPCC?
Um, Bloody loved it. Really did, and really do. Um, I find that there's so much training that you can never catch up. There's always so much
Yeah.
training, you know, like, but
Yeah,
that's a good
that
thing.
is by
Like
design.
the
I'm trying to, yeah.
yeah, that is something that you need to have. Like if it was a case that I was always catching up with training and it was like I was 100% done, I'd be like, okay, like I got to wait for the next one. And I think it's kind of like when you're doing online coaching, like you never program just to like the end of their week. You program ahead so that they have something then to do that next week and stuff like that and so on and so on and so on and so forth. And yeah, I've really loved how much content there is like to learn from. Like the fact that you do make sure that you don't leave a stone unturned, whether someone's thinking about being in person. Obviously, there's a big push on online at the minute, and the online aspect has so much to learn from, but it has so much transferable skills. Like some of the stuff that I've learned from online has really majorly impacted my in one-to-one. And it's not, and it's been vice versa as well. Like if it's been SGPT based, like what kind of practices work well into then one-to-one, so on and so forth. Like they have really merged well. So that's
Systems
been
marketing and sales are essentially principles that you can,
mm,
they're transferable skills. You can pretty much use it throughout any business. So yeah, if guys are coaches and they're working on the gym floor trying to build a gym or their own facility or getting online, these same systems will work across the board. So if someone was thinking about joining the FPCC, thinking about working with us, and they're on the fence, what would you say to them?
I'd just say do it. Like it's quite cliche. It's really hard to obviously trust someone. And like, but one of the biggest leaps of faith you'll ever take, but when also gives you a massive return is taking an investment into this. Like, I don't think I would be here today talking about being PT, in all honesty, if I didn't do it. You know, like the trust that I've created, the personality I can get across now, like I feel like every day I walk into coaching and I believe in myself. And I don't necessarily have to kind of like drill someone like, oh, trust me, trust me, trust me. Like, I'll get you there. I'll get you there. If someone just comes up to me like, oh, have you got like space? Have you got stuff like that? That's quite odd. You know, like someone going, have you got space this week? And I'm like, yeah, of course, I'll try and fit you in. Like, let's try and do it.
Yeah, it's
But then being
testament to
like,
you though, you as a person, your personality, your skills, your experience.
mm.
Yeah, it's
And I think that's something to actually really talk about as well is just quickly on the experience is like, I've only been doing it just over a year. And like the statistic states, like it's something like 90% of PTs within their first 2 years will
yeah.
be out of the business. Yeah, they're gone. And that's sad, especially if they get in it for the right reasons. You know, like if they're in it to just really help people and stuff like that, but they can't see how they can turn it around.
I know a lot of really
I
good
think if you're on that, if
because
you're
they
on
don't
that
learn
side,
how to market. it's yeah, you don't learn how to actually operate how to operate a business.
Yeah. Maybe you should start creating a level 2 and 3 qualification with
Yeah,
business marketing
that'd
inside
be
of it.